Hello there, everybody. Captain Census here. And yes, it's been a short 10 weeks ago that I flew in to discuss the census and census opportunities with Trilogy Health Services. In fact, I was just coming through for that Kentucky Derby, and I'll have to let you know that I'm going to rip through this video because I've got a flight to catch overseas to the great country of France, where I'm going to be actually watching. I'd love to participate, but just watching as we go into a very final hectic week on the Tour de France. A huge passion of the captain is cycling. So now let's get to what we're working on here. And of course, I always check in first with Mr. Bufford on how services are doing and how things are going, because you can't sell a product if you don't have great employees who are providing great services. And just checking that box off, things are still going well. We've got really great things going on this summer. We had a fabulous wellness week around Trilogy that was reported on. You also had a great summer events for your residents with much more. In fact, you reported the campuses are really looking sharp through your campus in color. All those great programs are being executed. Now all we have to do is get out and talk and sell and so forth, which you guys can do that. I know you know how to do that. So let's go through some statistics on the 10-week period as far as an update goes. And first and foremost, let's get a little bit of the bad news out of the way. 48 of the campuses, in reviewing the numbers, their census is actually less than it was at the same time the first week in May. And part of that is a result of what we would call changeover. And that means if you study, and you should study, trends and seasonality in businesses, the post-acute sector of your all's business, the captain knows it well, actually converts over from post-acute kind of declines after the first quarter through April into a more stable long-term care. That's just the seasonality of it. So you did lose some ground. The great news is 7 campuses stayed flat at 0, and a great 51 campus communities increased their census by 305. So that is outstanding action for 51 campuses in a 10-week period to average 6. Now, some of those are new campus communities, but as you'll see from looking at the numbers, you all at Trilogy are knocking it out of the park in some existing stable campuses in terms of your census growth. And the captain always learns from other people. And I would encourage each one of you to do the same. So as you see these campuses that'll be going across the screen there and appearing, well, check them out. The ones that are increasing, if they're near you, you ought to check out and see what they're doing. Maybe some best practices would go your way. Now, you all have strategies around converting your census into more private pay, more seniors housing. So I'm just going to report on those relative buckets, and I see some really good progress from the statistics that Mr. Bufford gave to me. First, in the area of private pay and skilled nursing. Always a tough recruit process, but boy, does it stabilize your census. And you guys are up a total of 20 in this area. As I said, it can be slow going, but obviously some campuses are really figuring out the magic there. And that's including, if you think about it, overall census in skilled nursing only went up 4. So there's really some outstanding things that happened in that area. On this next one, you'll see that you had several campuses in overall healthcare census at a time period when that's declining. And if you study your nationwide statistics or those that are available from the NIC, skilled nursing census has been declining. Trilogy is going up. And here are some of the great people, great campuses that are being led by Mooresville, Westfield, Leipzig, Valparaiso, Evansville, North River, of course, a new campus they should be filling, along with some stable campuses. Look at that growth at Springfield and Wabash, and you can see the remaining. And a shout out to North Baltimore, always in a tough market. When you see them growing, that's doing very well. So first, in the healthcare week, the census was held constant, up 4, but 20 increase in private pay. Now let's move to that seniors housing, that assisted living. And boy, some really good work there. And you can see from the campuses that are there on the screen, led by Novi, Romeo, Lafayette, Monticello, some real excellent growth. In fact, 104 new private pay seniors housing. So if you start adding those up, I think it's well over 140 of new increased seniors housing and private pay skilled nursing during this time period. So the captain gives you a big shout out for doing such great work in that area. Also, another part of your strategy, as Mr. Bufford has told me, is the independent living and those villas. And look at the nice increase. And again, these are longer to fill. Of course, they stay a long time with us, so it's slow going, up 15 during this time period. And you can see on the message here, who's winning and who's growing their villa census. Lots of good things happening there. As I said, overall, up 122 for the period. And across the screen, you'll see some of the higher increases in what people are doing very, very well. There were some great statistics Mr. Bufford reported in on census growth, 305 in 51 campus communities. Now, last but certainly not least on statistics is there are campuses that are just knocking it out of the park as it relates to budget. Now, they may not have grown as much as another campus, and a few of them have. I think you'll see some of the same names here. But look at these names on this next piece of information Mr. Bufford passed along to me. And you've got Lexington, Fritz Farm, Novi, Petersburg, good old Petersburg. Look at those increases. Fremont, Jackson, and these are all stable facility. There's Springfield again, and everybody else who's knocking it out of the park. So I guess the 10-week report, I'll just summarize it in just some really quick snippets here. First of all, Mr. Bufford and the Trilogy team, those strategies of converting and getting a more stable census of private pay and seniors housing are working in most locations. The cup is more than half full. If you think about 58 of the communities are in zero or positive territory. To the 48, you got to get on it. There's a total of 183 that we were, as an organization, Trilogy, better off. And if you were to come back to that zero, census would be up by 183, and you probably would never see the captain again. That's some great advice there. We understand the ups and downs of census, but that's what pays the bill. Census. It all starts there. That's good advice from the captain. In closing, I am so honored to be coming in on these visits and seeing your campus communities and the great work that each one of your campuses do, each one of the employees at Trilogy with that caring, compassionate heart, the leadership team being engaged and working together as one unit. All of those things are best healthcare company in the Midwest. And that's your all's goal at Trilogy, is to be the best healthcare company in the Midwest. The captain is honored to be a small part of it. Now, until then, I'm going to be catching that overnight flight so I can catch stage 17 of the Tour de France as they head towards Gay Paris, and a lot of great competition. But I know in my absence, you guys are going to be working hard on that census, because it all starts there. Take care, and God bless.